Mira Business FM.
It's the morning drive with me, Tim Elliott, and also with Jeff Rhodes. Jeff is back in the studio with me. He's a man who is the CEO of Goldstrom Advisory. Gold, precious metals, I said just now, and I was kind of joking and kind of not joking, really. He's probably forgotten more about gold and precious metals than most of us will ever know. Certainly the man to talk to. And I do like to start the introduction of our guest with a compliment. So, Jeff, there you go.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. So here we are, another week in. We talked last week. Gold was at record highs. It's once again hit record highs. Slightly down today. I know that. We got something like $4,040 an ounce. I think that was the high.
The high was, $4,059.
Oh, was it?
$4,059 on Wednesday.
And then
yesterday it tried to get up through that level. The high was 4,058.
Okay.
But that $1, the fact that $1 was $1 down, seems to have triggered a whole really raft of selling, wave of selling. That gold yesterday went from 4,058 to 3,940.
Okay.
So you can imagine that. So it was actually $113 was the actual number, 2.5% in one day. It's amazing. Listen, I think from the discussions we had last week, you would know that I have been expecting a reversal.
Yeah.
Because we've had, from August onwards, a relentless rally in gold, non-stop. Like every day you sit down and you go, oh, not again, not again.
It's been an ongoing thing. It's been a rally and then another rally and a rally on top of a rally.
Yeah. And remember, although this is good for investors, it's not good for the jewelry sector. Because the higher gold goes, the less amount of gold you can buy with the same dollars. So, no, it hasn't been good for the jewelry sector, particularly the fact there was no respite where you can calm down. And I really have some clients that haven't really been in tears, but they're just saying, Jeff, when is this going to stop? You know, when is the pain going to stop? And I think...
Is that the question everybody's asking?
No, not everyone. It's people who are short.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I feel like I'm asking, I will continue to ask you the same question. And basically every week it's like, Jeff, what's going on at the moment?
Yeah. You know something? I said this fairly jokingly as we came into the studio. When you boil it down to the basics, why does gold go up or why does gold go down? Simply, there are more buyers than sellers, or vice versa. And you can put whatever facts or figures behind that, but at the end of the day, I remember, as I say, 20 years of my 40-odd years was as a frontline market maker. So coming in, sitting at a desk, very similar to this, same kind of size, with a screen in front of me, and having to make up my mind if I was bullish, bearish, or neutral. Yeah. Okay? And frankly, when you are neutral, that's the difficult time because you really don't know which way to go. Whereas if you're bullish and you start off bullish and you're bidding the market up and some people are selling to you and selling to you, you kind of realize fairly quickly that you're on the wrong side of the fence. So then you turn. So if you're bullish, good, bearish, good, you're probably going to have a good day. If you're neutral, that's really the tough day.
That's so interesting. And this is what you've done. You did that for what, 20 years
20
of your
years
career?
frontline.
And that was frontline. But your whole career, and this is something I asked you just before we came on air, actually. If you have a day away from a screen, away from some kind of information device or a newspaper, whatever it is, do you get jitters? And you looked at me absolutely straight-faced and said, yeah.
It's true.
Because it's in you to follow what's going on in gold and, of course, and precious metals.
Yeah, it's part of me. You know something, Tim? I feel it. I have this feeling for gold and silver, but I have this feeling.
That's kind of an odd thing to hear, but I've known you a few years on and off, and I know that that's the truth. And you have to know what, or at least be able to deduce what's happening.
Look, when I first moved into the bullion market in 1978, I was effectively a bit of an expert on FX. Mm-hmm. I ran the accounts department at a merchant bank, and its main focus was FX. And I started my career as an FX trader, so I really, really liked FX. But on day one, this is really the truth. On day one, number one gold trader, number two gold trader at Samuel Montague got up and said, "We're going to lunch. Jeff, you're running the book." I didn't even know how to pick up the telephone. And I was sitting there. But fortunately for me, a very kind client came on and talked me through going to go out and buy me some gold, please, Mr. Jeffrey. And so I did. And when my two senior colleagues came back an hour later, I'd made about $50,000. And that was my first hour's trading in gold. This is really the truth. And I've never looked back since that first hour.
That's some tough love. Well, look, that's why you're here. But for the benefit of anyone who doesn't follow gold and or precious metals, I want to talk to you about silver today as well, because you did make that point on the way in. If you don't follow asset classes, the markets, whatever, that's not your thing. Why is gold still rising? Political, geopolitical issues, weaker dollar? What is it?
For a start, it's not a weaker dollar.
Right.
The dollar is quite strong.
Okay.
It's not weakness in equity markets. Equity markets are strong.
That's absolutely right.
There's no real impact on the interest rate markets because 10-year treasuries still work comfortably above 4% per annum. So there's the key factors that would normally see gold either going up or down would suggest a lower gold price, not a higher gold price. So firm dollar, weak gold tends to hold true. Mm-hmm. But what's happened over the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, certainly started with central banks. So central banks have been embarking on a dollar diversification strategy. They're not, junking the dollar, but they probably realized they have too many dollars and have been diversifying into gold for various reasons. A lot of it's safe haven, traditional reasons, a good hedge against inflation and so on and so forth. But the one asset class that is no one's liability is gold. And it's certainly in the East, that's always been the case. Gold is your go-to asset class when you're not sure of what's going on in the world.
Well, gold rallies were typically past tense, Eastern buyers, China, India.
Yeah.
Classically.
Yeah.
But that's not the case now, is it?
Well, it is the case. They are still, China definitely a big buyer.
Well, sure, but it's much more led, is it, or am I wrong? Am I reading this wrong? By Western investors. Is that where the rally...
Yes, it is. No, you're very insightful there, Tim, because I think the change since June has been a wave of investments into ETFs. And ETFs are basically a Western form of investment. So exchange-traded funds and funds. So it is basically Western investors have now come to the table and being followed rapidly on a retail level. Honestly, in the last week, I've had friends or acquaintances I haven't spoken to for years, and they know what I do, and they're coming on and so where can we go and buy some gold? Where can we go and buy some silver? In Dubai, they're reputable places. And of course, the great thing is, if you live in Dubai, this is the best and most, if you like, economically effective place to buy physical gold. Gold or silver in Dubai, there are thousands of locations that you can buy, reputable locations in the Gold Souk, in the Gold and Diamond Park, with the banks. You can buy gold and silver physically, and so it is for me. Can you imagine being a bullion guy? I do gold and silver, and I'm living here in Dubai, City of Gold. What more do you want?
We kind of touched on that last week, but you are in the right place. There's another aspect to that as well. There are lots of reputable places to buy gold. We're in the City of Gold. Dubai is a precious metals hub. DMCC comes to mind immediately. But there's also the security aspect of that, isn't there? Which is an added factor.
Of course. I mean, this is literally the safest place in the world to live.
Yeah.
The easiest money to be made is actually if you're an insurance company, because I think the crime is it must be the lowest in the world, and certainly the banks. The big players like Royal Mint, I don't know whether you know this, Tim, but I am the representative in the Middle East for the Royal Mint of the UK.
I didn't know that. I'm not surprised, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I've been looking after them for about 4 years, and one of the reasons they're so they with the big players, they will give them, it's called stock in location, i.e. they will put stock with the big jewelers for them to sell.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
They take the risk. They take the credit risk. They take that risk on those big jewelry companies because they can, because they trust them, and because the level of crime is so low here that they're very comfortable with their literally billions of dollars of bars and coins being kept in location, trusting the jewelers here, because the jewelers here are simply the best in the world. Honestly, they are. I don't really want to name names, but everyone knows who they are. A combination of fantastic jewelry market, and the safety. It's that safety. I mean, I brought up my daughter here, and it was amazing that 12, 13 years of age, you'd be worried anywhere else, but here you're not.
No, and it's very hard to get that across to people. If anybody watching, listening to this internationally now would just see me nodding, because there's no argument about any of the points you make.
There isn't. And so gold and silver, not so much platinum and palladium, not so much, but very much gold and silver, which, as you say, we do need to touch on, because it's my favourite. It always has been. And I'll tell you, I may have told you last week, but 1 year I predicted the silver price, the average silver price,
you did,
2%. Yeah. And so that's a kind of gift from God, really.
Well, as I say, this is in you. Let me ask you another question. I'm interested in this. One of the rallies around gold is you can argue the pros and the cons, but I think geopolitical activity, uncertainty is certainly part of it. I think that's kind of fair to say. Now, hopefully, the peace deal will hold that we've all heard about. Now, let's also assume expectations of an imminent Fed rate cut. Maybe assume that's accurate. What might that mean for the gold price?
Well, in the gold price already are 2 more cuts. So factored into the current gold price, we have another, in total, 0.5% between now and year end. That is in the price.
Yeah.
So the shock would be that only one of those rate hikes takes place.
Okay.
If both of them do, gold remains firm. It remains in a bull market. If the Fed didn't act, and I can't believe they won't, but if they didn't, that would be a big negative for gold. It would be. But as I say, I think it's done. It could limit to one cut in this month and leave December alone. But what I would say, I don't mean this in a negative way, or maybe I do, that when you have President Trump who in the White House, and be fair, let's give credit where credit's due. He has, if it happens this weekend, he's made peace in the Middle East almost single-handedly. So I saw some comments that maybe he would be up for the Nobel Peace Prize. I think that would be well deserved, actually. So he's a good look. He's doing a great thing there. But nevertheless, you still don't know from one day to the next what President Trump is going to do, and that uncertainty will underpin the gold price for the next 2 years. It's
an astute point. Well, let's just hope the peace deal does hold and that does happen. Yeah. I think that's the sentiment to take from that. That's what's really important. Let me ask you about silver, because as we walked in, my note here is just, what about silver? But obviously, it's your favourite. Talk us through what's going on. Well, silver has been undervalued for years, really for years and years. And just yesterday, silver hit the $50. All-time record high was $50, dating back to 2011. And before that, January 1980, silver's high was $50. It has been languishing for such a long time. And about 2 years ago, I suddenly woke up bullish for silver and started telling everyone, silver's going to go to $50. No, it's not. It's going to go to $60. You suddenly woke up.
I did. So I woke up one day and thought,
It's like Paul McCartney writing a song. He gets up, he's got a notebook in the middle of the night.
It was, yeah. Still, this is it. Wow. And so I started to advise my clients what they should be doing in silver. And, most advisors and consultants are like 50-50. They never really say anything. They never say the price is going up or down. They're very neutral. Well, I'm not. I have a view, and I'm happy to share it. So I shared it with anyone that would listen to me. Silver, now this is when silver was $12, $13, $14 per ounce. Right. And I'm saying silver at $50, right, as soon as President Trump was elected for the second time, then for me it was guaranteed. Yeah, so yesterday it hit 51, just above $51. So target achieved. So what now? I think back to 45, actually. I see a bit of a retracement. Time to get back on the bus and look for 60. And before the year end, I'm confident that we'll see a silver price of $60 an ounce. Okay. All right, then. Well, let's finish on gold. We've got 2 minutes left. I'm going to hold you to that on the silver, by the way. That's in my mind now. Gold spot price is up just over 53%, I think it is. I think that's the percentage rate year to date. On Monday, Goldman Sachs raised its December 2026 gold forecast to $4,900 an ounce. So just 4 days ago, from 4,300. Now they think, and you've mentioned this, strong inflows into Western gold ETFs, exchange traded funds, and central bank demand. Not everybody's cheering. That's one side of the coin. Some people feel it's the end of the rally. Is it the beginning of the end of the rally, or am I just talking out of the ether? Unfortunately, we're not meeting on Monday. But if we were, right, I would say to you, what happens today in New York, or in the trading session today that ends in New York, if we have a weak day, then we're heading, the beginning of the end of the rally is with us, right, and the price will reverse back to 3,600. However, if the market shrugs off this current weakness and ends on a firm note, and peace is not declared over the weekend, then yes, we can see higher prices, but the markets generally will benefit, everyone will benefit from a retracement. Then, dust yourself off, start all over again. And then I think we then go from 3,600 back and look at a price around or above 4,000 by year end. Don't think 4,900, but a weaker period followed by strength into the year end. Yeah, that's my place. So between now and then, 3,600 on the downside, 4,000 towards 4,000 in December.
Okay. And by the end of the year, silver is going to be 60.
60 plus.
All
Mr.
right,
Tim.
then. We will be talking to you next Friday, and thereafter, Monday and Friday. So we'll be looking ahead in the week and then looking back at the week. So we're going to start to build some...
Any questions as well? I mean, I'm
graphs
very
here.
happy to sort of, if there's anything coming in from the viewers or listeners, that they have something they would like to talk about, I'm very happy to always do that.
We'll be putting some questions to you. Jeff Rhodes is from Goldstrom Advisory. He's the CEO. It's always a pleasure to see you, Jeff. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Tim.
Appreciate it. News is next, and this is Mira Business FM.